what the next step would be on something like this? One more time? We're talking about the fire.
Okay.
I'm sorry. So maybe if we can find out a little bit about the fire in Topanga Canyon, see how that's going. Captain, are you there?
Yeah, go ahead. I'm here.
Okay. How big is the fire in Topanga Canyon, and do we know how it started at this point? Is it connected to this chase?
LA County units got on scene just after 2 p.m. Of a brush fire in the vicinity of Topanga and Entrada in Topanga. We got approximately 1 acre right now. Units are on scene and actively fighting this fire that you're showing right now.
Are you having to use the air assault on this fire?
That's correct. We've got helicopters, and we've also ordered up fixed wing to assist with this. Okay. So we anticipate their arrival here shortly.
And are you at least optimistic as far as the ability to get this knocked down and out fairly quickly?
Yeah, we definitely want to get our resources in there, get some aircraft on that, do some water drops, and as soon as we can get this, get the head of this fire, the better off we'll be. We want to make sure that once again we hit it with all we've got, keep this thing as small as we can, especially anticipating the winds to increase later on today.
How helpful has this marine layer been for a lot of these firefighters out there? Does it provide quite a big break for you?
Yeah, we're getting some break, but we got to understand that all the vegetation is still extremely dry. We're coming off of several days of high heat, low humidities. Right now we're getting a little bit of break from last night and into this today. We've got some haze and some coverage, but we can't let our guards down. We definitely have to be prepared, and we know that a fire like this can take off.
Certainly appreciate everything that the fire department has been doing at multiple fire departments, because you see the gear that they have to wear in that heat. It's been just an amazing situation to watch.
Yeah, we've been battling fires throughout Southern California, and even sending some resources up north to help out. And with this extreme heat activity and getting units on the ground, you can imagine we're experiencing some actually dangerous conditions as far as our firefighting personnel and the exertion that's put into this work.
All right. Well, Captain Ron Harrelson, we really appreciate you taking the time to speak with us from LA County Fire, and best of luck to you. And we're all praying for you, everybody to stay safe.
Thank you. Be safe.
Thank you.
And while we were talking with Captain Harrelson, you could see a little bit of a turn here in what's going on for what had been a laissez-faire standoff. The person didn't seem to show much agitation, and then all of a sudden, just within the past few minutes, ripping his shirt off, hitting his rear view mirror, throwing his shirt up onto the dashboard, and then even more troubling, starting to move the vehicle forward again, just a little bit, but again, moving it forward. So I don't know if he is actually talking to someone or if he's just angry in general, because it would seem that I don't know how you could hear from that distance with everything that's probably going on in that area, but clearly he is agitated and directing his ire at police officers who have him, at least if he wanted to go southbound, stopped on PCH.
Right, and he could be on a cell phone, speakerphone or something.
True,
you know.
And he could be on any number of things.
Yeah.
This is breaking news. We've interrupted programming here at 2:42 to cover the end, or we think, end of a pursuit, which is now on PCH. But we told you a moment ago when you heard from LA County Fire Captain Ron Harrelson, this person was driving southbound on Topanga through the canyon and then ended up on PCH, started heading north. The tires on that truck are just burned off, so the truck is skidding all over the road. Now apparently he's taken his shoes off and has his feet propped up in the window, and he is very much at ease with his current lot, but he is not happy with
his hands.
He's not happy with whatever he is being told at this point.
Mental illness, you never know this type of situation, what's happening, but certainly the foot out the door and taking his shirt off, it's not that hot right now on PCH.
Maybe a little later this afternoon when the red flag warning heats turns the temperatures and the winds a lot different, maybe it will be. But I'm just curious, their next step. How long, I don't know if they know if there's no one else in the car, how many people are in the car. We do know that southbound traffic on PCH is also closed. Now at 2:45, we're going to start seeing, this play out in the afternoon commute. I know that with COVID and a lot of being a holiday week, a lot of people are not going to be at work. It's not going to be as busy as normal, but certainly this is going to have an impact. If you use PCH through Malibu, you're probably going to be best served going around and not being anywhere near this. We turned off Sky Map 7. I'm trying to think of the nearest roads that we saw here on this. This is PCH in Carson Beach Terrace, Carbon Canyon Road. So those are the areas that you're going to be finding. If you're coming over the hill from Agoura, you're going to want to use a different route. You're going to not want to be finding yourself stuck on PCH. And now you can see the traffic is starting to get a little bit heavier in that area.
And especially with Topanga Canyon, being the way it is right now with the fire situation. They're not going to be
going through there if the fire's
exactly.
there. Yeah. That's a good point. And then they have air support right on top of this guy as well, you can see. So it's not just Air 7 in this area.
Yeah, and he's boxed in. It's just a matter of time and waiting. But in the meantime, who knows what kind of backup is happening on PCH right now. And, also limiting fire crews from getting in if they need to at the last minute. Well, looking on the right-hand side, I believe that is the fire that's burning in Topanga Canyon. Yeah, so you see a big plume of smoke rising from there. So it's grown. All that dry brush for the last 2 weeks, it's been in 100+ degree weather. So
I would think that the single biggest thing in their favor right now is this marine layer has stuck around a little bit through the day, and the fact that the winds haven't really kicked up yet. We know that will be the case later in the afternoon. It's a really dangerous situation regarding the fires. This, we're just, it's I'm getting a lot of different people emailing me with all kinds of ideas as to what's going on in the vehicle, friends and family. But you can certainly see that the police here are taking this very seriously. If you notice that they have multiple guns trained on this person. I can't tell it. That might be less than lethal right there. It could be a beanbag that one of the officers have.
Yeah, it looks like
I do believe that's what that is.
Yeah.
So, but when you start getting at this distance, it's not, it's not as effective from where he is, but certainly they have lethal weapons trained and ready as well. So,
just standing alert there, those 4 black and whites there. And then ahead of him, further down south on PCH, more vehicles are waiting for him.
Right. But again, one of the things to always remember is that the lane is open for him to move further north if he chose to. So that's one of the things that we've learned in past chases, that if the officers completely blocked off PCH and he had nowhere to go, that puts them in more risk than they would normally be, given, because if he decided to take off in that vehicle, everybody's in danger at that point. So right now it seems as if they're just going to kind of step back and wait.
Yeah, it certainly seems that way. And as you're watching this car just stay at a standstill, if he does take off, keep in mind the trailer is on the bare rims, and that's going to cause more sparks. And hopefully they want to keep him close to the shore on PCH, and definitely don't want him getting back on those canyon roads. So here's 2:47 in the afternoon, and so many things happening at one time. This car coming down south from Topanga Canyon toward PCH, and a fire starts in Topanga Canyon. We can't necessarily blame him for that fire, but it could be a coincidence or it could be not, because that again, that trailer is on the rims and sparks flying, and we don't know what type of fire, how it started yet, but they are working on that. We heard from Captain Ron Harrelson, and they are on that. They have a fixed wing coming in, and they have helicopters on it, trying to get as much control of this brush fire as they can, because as we head into the afternoon, Danny Romero and Dallas Rains have been telling us about these Santa Ana winds, which is hard to believe because, this marine layer, I woke up thinking, nice, a big relief. And Colleen Sullivan joins me now, relieving Philip Palmer. And Colleen, this just one of those things in California. Look at this. He said, I got this on the back of his truck there. He definitely doesn't have this because he's sort of boxed in here at PCH.
Yeah, we've been watching him. And at first, when he went into that middle area, you thought, oh gosh, is he going to go to the side? Is he going to go into oncoming traffic? But he did go to a stop. We know these are very challenging vehicles to just without the trailer attached to it, just driving a big utility truck. But deceiving the weather over there along the coastline, it might the cloud cover's there, but it is still warm. I think we were looking to see, did he take his shirt off or something? Or he's definitely wearing shorts, and it looks like he's very much in a reclined position in that front driver's seat. Actually, looks like he may have closed. Oh no, he didn't.
75 degrees right now there, but he's lucky because it's probably going to warm up if these Santa Ana winds kick in. Yeah, he took his shirt off.
Yeah.
Then he took his shoes off. He hung his feet or his foot out the door. His hands he was just
we're still unsure why they went to pull him over for reckless driving.
So you see him talking, and I don't know if he's looking in the rearview mirror and talking to the police officers in his rearview mirror, or if he's just talking on the phone to himself or talking to himself.
Well, we do know that law enforcement have taken sort of different stances on, mental health as well. So you just never know what the mental health of this gentleman is right now, what's causing him to do this. Is this actually his truck, his vehicle? What? I mean, you clearly see him very animated, yelling, but is he yelling at law enforcement? He might be having
now
some
it looks
sort
like
of
he is.
episode.
When he sticks his head out, you can see there earlier on the right-hand side, he was definitely...
There goes the shirt.
At one time. Yep,
on the right-hand side.
Yeah.
But, I mean, he throws it up on the dashboard. He's clearly agitated about something. But, I mean, hopefully we'll find out those details later. But it is, the police are taking a very cautious approach to this. They, and we know law enforcement, they've been going through lots and lots of training and lots of debriefing on mental illness and how to sort of draw down a situation, then escalate it, especially if there's so many law enforcement on this suspect. And it is going to, I know that during COVID times, the traffic has really been one of the silver linings to this, but PCH, on the best days, it still seems like it gets clogged so easily.
Right.
And
now you have the Topanga Canyon closed, so not a lot of ways to get over. You have Canaan, and you have Malibu Canyon Road, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
So right now, this Topanga Canyon fire is burning 2 miles from PCH, over the area where he drove through earlier. And we don't know much about this particular suspect.
There you go.
Right. Look at that earlier. He was driving quite quickly with that big truck.
And you were talking about it earlier. It looks like those tires are down to the rims, and I think you and Philip you saw them sparking.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's so dangerous when you're by all that brush. And as we head into the next couple days of Santa Ana winds, and we're already holding our breath with fire danger. We don't need to see something sort of sparked by this.
You could see right there where the tires were shot. In that video.
Yeah.
At one point, this truck was going down the canyon 87 miles per hour as he approached that brake check area. So, it was touch and go for a while. We're watching him barrel down this canyon, and he's fortunate that he didn't hit anybody.
You just wonder what we know that I think that this, they're on the Pacific Coast Highway. You wonder what they're. I'm just sorry. The producer is talking to me about something, but we're seeing that there's so much law enforcement out there. They're obviously trying to de-escalate the situation and trying to figure out what to do. But you see that backup forming on PCH right there.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, it's just absolutely. Sorry, we're getting spoken to by somebody else as well. Why I mean, this is breaking news, and this. Yeah, you do. You need to have 4 ears, and you need to have someone send you little notes. But Yeah, we're just watching it. It's absolutely at a standstill, but it's not as though he's barricading himself in there. It's not. We don't know if there's anybody in that king cab of that pickup, correct? I haven't seen any movement in there.
Just his.
Just him.
You know, yeah, just his moving his arms around and sticking his foot out the door. He stopped once before during this pursuit, and then he stopped again. And then the latest thing, he went about 10 feet and stopped again. So we were hoping that perhaps he was going to surrender, but he just simply just has been staying in his car. It's a standoff at this point. Wait and see what he does. But those officers are standing by at the ready.
Because you never know if he has any sort of weapon. And again, the size of vehicle that is, all it has to do is charge at the officers there. But you know, sometimes these standoffs they can last for hours. They can stay inside there, and they can have some sort of negotiation taking place between law enforcement and them, or law enforcement talking to one of their relatives, trying to get the person to give up.
You see those beautiful homes along the coast, and they're probably wondering what is happening right outside my home.
Oh, heck yeah.
Good opportunity to check out these houses.
Exactly,
PCH.
and go, wow, it's perfect. It's a beautiful time frame right now to have a beachfront property. Boy. That's for sure. It's so hot.
So we'll be hearing from Danny Romero coming up in about 6 minutes or so when Eyewitness News at 3 begins. And we need to find out the latest on these Santa Ana winds, because woke up to that marine layer, even where I live in Altadena. You know, it was just so nice and cool. It was like a complete different change, but these Santa Ana winds on the way, and that can change everything, especially with that Bobcat fire. They're saying that those winds could really cause some problems there.
You can't help but not see all the ash area. We were just learning that the fire on Topanga Canyon area has grown to 7,000 acres. So it is fastly chewing through that brush. But we know that area, very thick, very. Seven acres. Okay.
Sorry. I thought, wow, that was growing a lot.
I thought this is just unbelievable. I'm not saying. Okay, we're talking to unfortunately, we're getting through. Again, we need to have 4 ears out here. So there's the fire. You're looking at it. I'm going to take a look at the Topanga Canyon brush fire, but
yeah, not a lot of information except that it did spark. You know, shortly after that truck went through there, the pursuit went through Topanga Canyon, and as you can see right there, it's deep in that ravine, and they do have helicopters on site fighting this fire. They've called for a fixed wing aircraft to go through there. You know, that's pretty much what they have to do, an aerial assault in these type of canyon areas. You see a little bit of darker smoke, but for the most part, they think that they might be able to get it under control. They're hoping to, at least before the winds start blowing, and they're trying to do as much as they can during this little window of opportunity where it's not windy yet.
Yeah, we have a very narrow window of opportunity.
Yes.
Because now, all right, we do know that we broke into programming, and we're learning that General Hospital will be sure to give you the time when General Hospital will be re-airing. We're learning it's at 1:06 a.m. So if you want to set your I almost said VCR.
I know.
Jeez.
Whatever you do to set your...
If you want to set any part of your DVRs or what have you, it's going to be airing at 1:06 a.m. So I know that they brought back production, which has been another thing that a lot of people have been so happy to see, some of the crews being brought back online. Boy, you can see this fire in Topanga Canyon. It is going to be a tough area for law enforcement to get to as it marches right up that hill. Ooh. And the last thing you want to see are these fires, because when we saw them over the weekend, you just kept looking around thinking, what is going on?
Yeah, I just kept thinking about those firefighters and that heavy gear.
The amount of time that they fight these fires too, so many hours on, their resources are spread so thinly right now. And you're talking about that heat, Alan, the heat and just what they have to do to get up into these areas. On a cool day, it's going to, Danny, you're standing by. I know we're going to be checking back in with you, but can you gauge a little bit of what the weather is like right here?
Yeah, especially, well, again, understand a couple things are working here. You're in a canyon, so winds that are like nearby, fairly mild winds at the moment. are amplified in the canyons because of the structure of the canyon, topography, and all that. So we're going to see winds there. Nothing dangerously high, like 50-mile-per-hour gusts, which we could be seeing later on in the day, because those red flag warnings for the coastal areas, which is where Topanga is considered, those will kick into that red flag warning time frame a little bit later on. Like right now, those parts of Southern California, the coastal parts, aren't quite in that red flag warning quite yet. So you can see those winds are still more onshore than offshore. So there's a little more moisture in those. So there is more moisture in the air in that general area. So that's a big part that's going to help the firefighters as well. The temperature also is not exceedingly warm. We're talking about right about 78 degrees right now. The winds are fairly minimal at the moment, again, as that red flag won't really kick in until later on. And more importantly, there's all that moisture in the air. We're looking at about 78% relative humidity, which is a lot of moisture in the air right now. So that certainly will help the firefighters. But all that said, when you're in a canyon, when you've got that topography where fires burn up the hillside, so they kind of fuel themselves because they warm and dry out the area above the fire line, so that fire just eats it. It's looking for food. It could climbing up that hillside, so those fires really kind of can amplify, and that's why they really try and get this down. But in terms of the conditions are, I would say, more helpful than damaging right now. I mean, it's not perfect, but it certainly is more on the plus side than the minus side for firefighters.
And thank heavens for that, because that Topanga Canyon area, it could just go up.
Absolutely.
It's like dry tinder out
there.
there.
You go. Yeah,
Especially,
exactly.
you figure it's pretty close to Woodland Hills, and with the record temperatures of Woodland Hills, I can't imagine how dry that brush is.
Right. Yeah. I mean, at this point, they're lucky in that part, that zone there. They haven't quite amplified those red flag conditions quite yet. I mean, it will be coming very soon, but just not right now.
Right.
Yeah, it looks and it looks like it's in a very remote area, which you don't really see a bunch of structures right now in jeopardy. But again, it can be deceiving just looking from here. That's what it looks like from here. But again, obviously, I haven't seen the fire crews, the air assault happening, because those resources are spread thinly, as we've already said.
Yeah, we spoke to Captain Harrelson. He said there was some helicopters on scene and that they were requesting that fixed wing. And right now, as you said, Colleen, 7 acres burning up a little uphill there, but fortunately not real windy yet. But there, okay, so now we're looking at a full screen there of this end of the pursuit. We hope is the end of a pursuit. It's right now sort of a pause in the pursuit of this truck with a trailer behind it, and this trailer has only rims left of those tires on that trailer, scraping the pavement as he was driving. But we've been watching this man, quite agitated. There you go. You're seeing close-ups of the tires, so you can see
there,
not going very far with those.
No, but it's still it begs the question: why is he not just getting out of the car? You just never know. What is motivating him to stay in this car?
Who knows?
And again, he's in a somewhat agitated state. You can see earlier this is when he starts hitting the mirror and just getting very violent inside that car.
I think he dropped his sunglasses there on the pavement.
Yeah.
And then he takes his shirt off and takes
throws
his shoes
it up
off,
on the
puts his feet out.
dashboard, and we'll see it all. This is that moment where he just gets so angry, but he knows what he's saying.
I know. By the way, you're watching Eyewitness News at 3 o'clock. I'm Ellen Leyva along with Colleen Sullivan. We have Danny Romero watching these weather conditions that are changing quite rapidly. We're live on ABC7, ABC7.com, and streaming wherever you are. You can get the ABC7 Los Angeles app. Even if your power goes out, you can watch it on your app. So how convenient is that? Anywhere you are, get the latest news. In fact, I had to use it a couple times this weekend.
I use it all the time. Yeah. It really is. It is quite helpful.
It really is.
You always want to see that weather too.
Exactly.
You can get a gauge of how hot it's going to be, because today was the first day we saw it seemed like a fever broke kind of thing. It was, it was just so oppressive, that heat over the last few days.
It certainly was, even at the beach, wasn't it? Like 90-something degrees?
Unbelievable. And there was so little wind, and a lot of people don't have air conditioning, me included. And it just makes for that. And then you see all the ash in the air, and the cars were covered in ash there as well.
Where I live, it was just covered with ash everywhere.
Air quality.
Literally pieces of ash falling out of the sky that you could see. And did you happen to see the sunset yesterday? Oh, you were working, but it was like a bright orange just a big orange in the sky. It was
Yeah.
crazy, right, Danny?
Yeah, it was amazing. Yeah.
Yeah.
In fact, I think I posted on Instagram that picture because it was just stunning look there.
It was amazing.
Yeah.
So this is so you're watching this pursuit that went over the canyon, Topanga Canyon, and now is on PCH. And if you know that area, it's near Entrada on PCH in Topanga area, obviously. But this started around 2 p.m. And
for a driver driving recklessly, but not exactly. No clue why this person was driving the way that they were driving, and now they've been to a stop, and I feel like they pulled over a good 25 minutes ago,
yeah.
at least, and they pulled over, and you thought, okay, they're just gonna surrender and have a conversation, but they are absolutely not getting out of that vehicle. And again, despite it, and you can see earlier on the right-hand side, you'll start seeing some sparks coming from some of those back, the trailer that that pickup truck is hauling, and you see it get a little swirly. I would have been very nervous if I were on the other side of PCH, seeing this utility truck coming barreling at me.
Yeah, so we've been watching the standoff on the right-hand side, the left-hand side of your screen is the live picture, and it's kind of like watching a movie that is not that interesting, but we want to see the end.
Yeah.
But you don't know how long the movie's going to go on, and do you invest the time because you want to see how it ends.
I want to know why.
It could go on for hours.
Yeah, it could absolutely go on for hours. We have seen this. We have seen this where somebody, and then all of a sudden, the night comes and they're still in that car, and you're just thinking, goodness gracious, what happened? What happened to bring you to from one point where you're in the morning to an afternoon where you have several police vehicles? I don't know if their guns are drawn, but I'm sure that they are at the ready if they are not drawn. We're losing some of our
okay.
our,
Well, we lost
picture on
live
left.
signal. I don't know what that's about. But on the right-hand side of the screen, you're seeing as he's kind of going down PCH after he exited Topanga and started going north on PCH. This is where he comes to a stop. Okay. We got a picture back.
Yeah.
Okay, I see an officer going up on the hillside there to the top of your screen there on the right.
Get a better vantage point, maybe. Is that a police officer? Yeah, you're right. You're right, Ellen. I think it might.
And he has, I think, a non-lethal weapon there aiming at the car. They might want to, I don't know what kind of backup it is, if the helicopter can show us up ahead or if there's any type of backup. I don't know, but I'm guessing there is.
I would say there's probably a very good chance, again, like we were talking about it, because of the current COVID situation, people are staying home, but this area, there's very few ways to get in and out. If you need to get home, or, I mean, people are still working and people are still having to go in and out of their neighborhoods.
Because if you think
You're
about
bummed
it,
out.
you have Malibu Canyon Road, and you have Canaan, and then you have the Topanga, and that's about it.
Right, there's very few arteries to get into
to the valley.
Or to the valley if you're trying to get back. But they don't really look like they're in a rush to move out of the car and give up. And you know that the law enforcement are sitting there, probably with their, they're obviously giving commands, saying, please get out.
Yeah. And he was apparently driving on the wrong side of the road on PCH. So it's lucky that he didn't
look at all the other
hit anybody.
They really have shut this whole section down.
Yeah, completely shut down. Well, there's a lot for sale if anyone's interested.
I was like, I think it'll be out of many of our price range.
I'd say.
But yeah, the residents here, they obviously have something happening right outside their window. I'm sure they're
sheltering in place. In case you don't know, there are reports that this man, he's not believed to have a weapon, but they'll never know that for sure. And we don't exactly know what the original want was, except for driving a bit recklessly. If anyone has more information, you can feel free to give it to me in my ear.
Yeah, as of right now, we're still because this is a breaking news story. Law enforcement don't have a lot of time to give us the details on exactly what led them to see this pursuit happen. But exactly, I mean, we're trying to kind of ascertain exactly on PCH. I think
It's
Ellen,
near
you ha-
Entrada, if you know where
Oh,
that
okay,
is.
yeah.
I don't exactly know Malibu area, but he said it's near Entrada on PCH, south of Topanga.
Yeah, I'm pulling up my map just because I know this is just never easy when you're trying to. Certainly not going to help out. I'm sure people have their maps and trying to find alternate routes to go.
Well, I guess we can. Okay, some unit overhead, still watching it. We apologize for lack of information. There simply isn't any coming in, except you're watching it along with us and wondering what this man is thinking and if he's going to surrender.